Hey guys, this is the build video for the Orbit One 250 miniquad. This is the 7-piece version in G10. We've got all the pieces here ready to go. We've got the motors, ESCs, everything ready to go, and we're just going to run through the build and some configuration options and some other bits and pieces as well. So sit back and we'll get right into it. The first thing we're going to look at is actually not the frame first. We're going to look at the ESCs that come with this kit. They are the SpaceOneFPV T-Motor 12 amp, and this is how they come out of the bag. And what I've done is I've already gone ahead and flashed them all with BioHeli. That's my preferred firmware to run on these. They come with Simon K out of the packet, so you can run that if you want. I just prefer to use the BioHeli as I've been using in my other multi-rotors. So I've gone ahead and done that. They do all you need to do that. All you need to go ahead and do that is one of these, which is the Afro USB linker. So basically you remove the red pin, plug it in, and then flash your firmware. Once you've done that, the next thing to do is really snip these JST connectors off, because we're going to be using the power distribution board to solder these up to, so that's going to be of no use to us. Cool, and then we'll get right back into it and we'll start with the frame. The first step we're going to go through is step 1, obviously, and we're going to install the CC3D standoffs, or whatever flight controller you might be using. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and already done that. So I've secured the standoffs in their center plate with the nylon nuts, ready for the CC3D. The other thing I have done is my CC3D came with the case, so I've unscrewed that, so I've just got the bare board. So now I can mount that onto the standoffs here. The orientation you can change, so you can have it pointing downwards, forwards, backwards, whichever way you like. I like to have the pins for the motors facing downwards through the frame, so that you can mount them from underneath the frame. It just makes for cleaner wiring. It does make it a bit of a hassle to get them in and out, but from a clean wiring perspective, it's a lot tidier. So I'm going to go ahead and mount that, and then we'll be back for the next step. I've now mounted the standoffs to the middle plate. Now, originally I was going to go with the short top plate. You actually get 2 top plates with this kit. And I was going to go with the wrong way. I was going to go with this short top plate. However, I'm actually going to go with the long one, just so it gives me a bit more coverage of the battery, and also will give me additional mounting options for the VTX up in here, and some OSDs and things. So I'm going to go ahead and screw this top plate on, and then I'll come back. So here I have mounted the rear 2 standoffs, and I've loosely mounted the top plate so that you can see what it looks like. Always remember to use blue Loctite to screw metal into metal, so that the screws don't back out, else that will cause vibes in your system. So we'll go on to the next phase, which will be, let's have a look at the manual here. It will be mounting the arms on. So we'll have a look at that, and I'll go through the different configurations that we can do there as well. The next step we're going to go through is mounting the arms to the middle plate. What I've done is I've taken the top plate off this, just so I can work on the top plate later for the FPV equipment. You will need the yellow bag with all the arm standoffs and bolts and nuts and screws, and obviously the arms. So I'll go ahead, I'll mount these up, and then I'll talk about the different configurations we can do with the arms as well. I've gone ahead and mounted the arms on this frame. As I mentioned previously, there are 3 different ways of mounting these arms. In each of the arms there are 2 holes for mounting in different orientations, so you can have the motors, well, the arms inwards more, or you can have them outwards more. And of the 3 configurations, I've got this in what's called GoPro mode. So if you, this is the front of the Mini here. Working from the bottom at the moment. You'll see that the forward arms are actually back from the nose, and this means that when I mount a GoPro on here, you're not going to see any props at all. And I also have on the rear the arms towards the rear a lot more, so that they can counter the weight of having the GoPro on the nose and obviously the battery out here. So hopefully I should get good CG in doing that. You can also mount these outwards as well, so you can have it in an X configuration, or you can mount them more inwards and you can have them in an H configuration, depending on what kind of flying style you want to be doing. Just thought I'd point those out. I've not seen any other frames that have done that, and that's a real nice thing about this frame. I'm quite keen to try it out and see what the actual difference in flying style is with this kind of configuration. So the next step that we're going to do is we're going to mount the spacers onto the arms here, and that means that whenever we take the bottom plate on and off to get to our ESCs, it means the arms don't fall off, which is always nice. And you can also run the wires through the spacers here up into the motors. So I'll go ahead and do that now, and then I'll come back. I've gone ahead and put the spacers on here on the arms, so they're all nice and secure now. Tighten those up. I've just finger tightened them for now, just for the sake of the build. The next step we're going to do is step 4 here, which is mounting the bottom plate. Now obviously I've not soldered anything to this at the moment. I'm going to do the electronics separate of the main build, and I'll show that in the extra bits of this video. But for the time being, I'm just going to mount this one here. The front is that way, so that will go on there like that, and you can see that there is plenty of room in there to mount our ESCs in. So these are going to actually be inside the frame in here, all 4. I'm going to solder them up to these pads in the middle here, and then run the arms up through the middle, and then I'm going to probably have to extend the motor wires, or maybe I can actually, no, I can run the motor wires in through here and down there. So yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, we'll see what we do with that. But yeah, so all I need to do here is just use the lock nuts, pop these on, tighten them all down, and that will conclude the middle frame and the bottom frame. So what I'll go and do is I'll go and do that, and I'll pop the lid on and I'll show you what the whole thing looks like when it's fully built. So here we have it, guys, the conclusion of the main frame build of the Orbit One 250. Everything's screwed together, top plate's on, arms are on, have it in GoPro mode. I've left the board camera mount out, which would normally sit in the nose here, simply because I'm going to run a mini cam that I'm going to screw probably up here actually, and have that sitting up there. But other than that, awesome. What I'll do next is I will sort all the electronics out separately and solder them all up and get them all in there, and then I'll go through and show what I've done on each of those as well, and then we'll come back and eventually get to some flying videos. Thanks again, guys.